Every day I'm committing to doing a review of my top highlight from the Steam Christmas sale. Woo! Steam Christmas sale! Prepare your wallets! Woo! Today we have Age of Empires II HD Edition, available for a mere $3.74. Age of Empires II sculpted me into the man I am today. Well, it at least taught me the foundations of how to play RTS games world. Concepts such as hotkey usage, micromanagement, managing an economy, harassment, macro and unit counters, scouting, and playing competitive online were all instilled on me at a young age, thanks to this title, not to mention a healthy amount of historical knowledge from the lives and battles of Joan of Arc and William Wallace to methods of medieval siegecraft. This HD remake holds itself identically true to the original title, and includes the original Age of Empires and the Conqueror's expansion. It adds much shinier graphics, and importantly, Steam integration. The old MSN gaming zone for people used to play on is long dead, but now you can play on Steam Online, which makes playing a viable option again. There's also an active community for the game that plays it competitively, and some of the tournaments even offer $10,000 or more for the winner, which is pretty remarkable considering how old the game is, so grabbing this to get involved online is a solid choice. There's a couple of other clients for more serious competitive play that I'll also post down a link at the bottom. Age of Empires II is a traditional isometric RTS set within the medieval era, and animated with beautifully detailed sprites. It's one of the most iconic RTS games ever made. You control one of multiple medieval civilizations, and starting with a group of humble villagers, build them up economically, militaristically and technologically, while one or more opponents does the same. There's many ways you can secure a victory, such as capturing all the relics on the map, but the most common is crushing your enemies and hearing the lamentation of their women. Play evolves in real time, hence the name real-time strategy, duh, and is frantic as you rush to secure economic resources for your civilization while scouting out your enemy, fending off their attacks, and planning your own. Your economy is at the heart of securing victory. Without it you have no money to pump out more troops and research better technologies. It's split into multiple resources, wood, stone, gold and food, which you have to hunt around the map for, rather literally, especially in early cases of the game where you're herding sheep and boars until you manage to work out how to farm food. I love how the game attempts to simulate the growth of civilization from hunter-gatherer roots to a fully fledged and advanced agricultural society with walls, iron forging, and eventually even gunpowder and armoured elephants. It's a clunky approximation of things and doesn't even come as close as the Civilization series does, but it's very endearing in its own way. I was guilty as a child, primarily playing with deathmatch mode growing up, as well as masturbating too often. In this, you're given a huge amount of resources from the start, and can begin the game with a map fully explored and all the technology researched, so you can get straight to producing hordes of cavalry and trebuchets to take down your opponent's death zones of castles, walls and cannon towers. It was an incredibly fun game mode, and allowed you to quickly mash together loads of units and huge fights, which, especially back then, was rather a spectacle to behold, although it all looks a bit quaint now. It also took away the more difficult parts of the game, such as scouting, building up a proper economy, learning build orders, and knowing how to balance your tech and what to research, and all those general macro management features that are the key to really mastering an RTS game. It was only later that I attempted to play the game properly and where I picked up the basis of real RTS play that still stays with me today, and is the reason why I'm such a pro-level diamond StarCraft player. Although, unfortunately, I was a bit lazy then as I am now, and these attempts were sporadic, so the real memories for me were really those awesome deathmatch games, which introduced me to the huge spectacle of RTS play, and its huge potential. When things really kick into gear in this game, things are lightning fast as any session of a game such as StarCraft, or even a fast-paced shooter like Call of Duty. If you don't believe me, check out some of the professional level games. It's the balance of elements that are key to any successful RTS game that makes them really work, and Age of Empires II puts it all together perfectly. The in-depth economy with its multiple resources that you have to balance and find against one another, the rock paper scissors of troops, skirmishers killing archers, pikes killing cavalry, cavalry killing everything but being very expensive, while longswordsmen being slower but cheaper equivalents, but are therefore more vulnerable to archers, and all the different tactics you can use, such as rushing with an early militia unit or taking quickly to a fast castle to produce your special units. There's numerous ways to play and gain an advantage over your opponent. While there are a huge number of civilizations in the game to choose from, each of them plays in a fairly similar fashion. They each have a unique unit, such as the British Longbowman or the Aztec Jaguar warrior, and some have special abilities, like the Huns not needing houses to increase their population, making them a well-suited race to early rushes. But There's not enough to make them entirely unique without imbalancing the experience. You won't find a stark contrast in playstyles like you would in StarCraft, but you will find an incredibly balanced and in-depth experience. The other portion of the game is its extensive single-player campaign mode, where you're given a choice of multiple campaigns to play through based on famous ancient figures such as Saladin, Genghis Khan and Joan of Arc. The missions within these are more structured, in the way they try to tell the story of the events. You may be uniting the clans to join Genghis Khan or fighting the siege of Paris as Joan of Arc. These all provide a unique way of learning how the game works, and tackling it in a fun, engaging and interesting manner, as well as giving you a crash course in a few choice periods of history as well. Age of Empires II HD Edition keeps the game holding up to this very day. It's a fast, competitive RTS game that can appeal both to casual players and to more hardcore ones. It doesn't have fancy graphics or any innovative game mechanics as far as RTS games today go, such as the Dawn of War series, which did away with economy entirely and had you running around the map playing kiss chase with each other. But it's an incredibly well polished experience with balanced gameplay elements that keep it engaging